Welcome to the CS Joseph podcast. I'm your host, CS Joseph. If that's not obvious for you folks, I don't know what is, but then again, maybe you might be like new to the show and have no clue what happens, but that's like okay. But anyway, we're doing Acolyte questions again because that's what we do. Acolyte members submit questions to me every month, and I do a video on those questions. If you want to become an Acolyte member, csjoseph.life/members, become a journeyman member first, then upgrade to Acolyte from there, or go to csjoseph.life/portal. All right, so the actual question, because like we're trying to keep these videos short. I think I let me know in the comments if you guys actually like the short videos. I think some people do, but the question is, how can a shadow-focused INTJ switch his main cognitive focus toward his subconscious? And I've been having a lot of discussion the last few weeks with Mr. Chris Taylor about cognitive focus, and basically, we're working on, our version of the Enneagram that we're going to be producing software for in the near future to have our own Enneagram test that's like actually accurate and capable compared to the one that's out now, which is incomplete and terrible. So yeah, all you die-hard Enneagram junkies, yeah, Enneagram sucks. But that being said, we're working on it, and you'll have the ability to identify your own cognitive focus as well as some other awesome things that are coming as a result of what we have coming for the Enneagram, or our Enneagram, if we're going to call it Enneagram. Who knows? So yeah, uh, I decided to bring Chris in to the show to actually assist in answering this question. So with that there, Chris is here. So welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. This is a great topic to come into. I love INTJs. They're one of my favorite types. One
Yeah,
of
your favorite type to teach because I'm a pedagogue, right?
my pedagogue. That's exactly right.
I'm a
Yeah. So
pedagogue.
this is a great question, especially given that we've started, kind of discussing the temples and as you're already kind of bringing up the cognitive focus that goes along with that. Um, But to the question, what I would personally say is you have a shadow focused, or maybe it's an ego focused INTJ, and they're going to spend a lot of time, and they're going to be kind of performing here and there because my gamma quadra and all about that performance and that treasure that comes with it. And with that shadow focus, they're spending a lot more time kind of developing their own kind of individuality within their shadow and what makes them stand out. Um, and with that ENTP shadow, trying on the different masks and going from there, seeing which one fits better and exploring the maturity that comes in with that rather than, just the pure FI child that's kind of unrestrained. Um, Now, when they want to switch over and start developing that subconscious, that's where that SE performance comes in. That's where that FI child is starting to learn how to be a little more mature and responsible. Before they develop their subconscious, it's FI child. Oh, look at me. This is me. That's all there needs to be is just, oh, I got my personality though. And then if a child's just kind of being innocent and doesn't really have any cares in the world, and a lot of times this gets them into trouble within their social groups because it's all about my feelings and who I am, and they're pragmatic, so nobody's going to stop me from being who I am. And this is going to cause a lot of awkward situations. This is going to rub a lot of people the wrong way, and their SE inferior gets hit a lot.
Why
So
would
when they're
they
wanting
want
to
that?
kind of switch, what's that?
Why would they wanted that? Like, I mean, I'm a shadow focused ENTP. I'm cool with, being shadow focused. I love me some shadow. But then again, I gotta admit, I'm not happy as a person unless I develop my ISFJ subconscious a little bit more. But like, what's the motivation you think for this person?
Well, for them, it's going to be letting. I mean, for them, when they're not subconscious focused, they're constantly worried about, um, these experiences that are caused by FI child, kind of running rampant and just being childish in nature, and these constant social faux pas. So, from a very base level, like they're not going to be happy because they're going to constantly push people away. and it's going to hit their own child function over and over again, and they're going to always be insecure about how they're coming across to people in their performance. So really, it's like all the other types, finding that subconscious development will lead to a lot more happiness. And with that, it's for them, going into a little bit of the temples, aspiring into that body temple and creating from it. So what they really need to do, whenever you have the inferior function aspiring, that hero function is going into an inferior standpoint. You're letting your hero be vulnerable. So it's about abandoning the things that they think that they want and just going out and doing things, experiencing. And they can start from a place of like what they value if they want to go that
Or
way. But
hitting what they
it's
need.
almost like, right, right. Well, they're gonna have a hard time knowing what the hell that is. But
I know, right?
it's kind of similar to us ENPs with our SI inferior and needing to just, if you haven't done it before, just try it. And you
Exactly.
you need to just go out there and do. Like, you need to let yourself not for once not know what you want. And whenever you get into that situation, well, I don't know if I want that. I don't feel like I want that. Let go of that. Just go do and see what happens.
It's kind of
And
like
you'll develop. Go ahead.
it's kind of like how INTJs are around sexuality, because like they spend so much time thinking about sex instead of actually having sex. And I think one of the reasons for that is, as you just said,
Yeah.
they want to plan the whole thing out, give the ultimate experience, etc., instead of just like letting it come to them, letting it just unfold naturally, which is what their SI inferior partner would want anyway. Because the last thing their
Right.
SI inferior partner wants to feel like is that it's not spontaneous, or that it is, this
I'm
thing.
doing this just because it's part
Yeah,
of the process. Like, it's all a part of my end goal instead of it's because I genuinely want you. That's
yeah.
the absolute worst thing you could do to an SI inferior, any
It makes
hero.
us
You
feel
will lose
like
them every time.
it makes us feel like a broken down car in a garage that just needs maintenance, and they're just gonna follow the manual,
Yeah.
the little maintenance plan to maintenance us in the car, and it's just like, really, there's no actual
Well,
passion in that.
it's even worse for ENFPs. Like, if you're an INTJ looking for your pedagogue, if you make us feel like we're just another cog in the machine and we're not special to you, you're just sorry, but you're losing us real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah. Fe critic
Um,
starts stabbing things at
yep.
that point.
Yeah. But yeah, no, they just need to let go of that. I know what I want, and just go do, and they will find that they create these amazing things because they're starting to they through that experience they're letting go. When you're tunnel vision with that NI hero INTJs, you're trying so hard to get to that point that you limit any of your creations. Your SE limits it, and this is one reason why you have such fear with your SE inferior, is because how am I going to ever get to that point that I want to get to? Well, stop worrying about that. Just go do, and you'll find that your SE does just fine when you're letting yourself not know what you want. And you
Yeah,
will leave these legacies on people that they will remember you for and think highly of you. And
yeah.
that's
Like,
how you'll find your happiness.
yeah, they need to stop planning it. Like it's okay.
Yeah.
Allow themselves to be more impulsive and just let the chips fall where they may. Tyler Durden quote.
Yep.
That's literally the direction that they need to go. And that's kind of, it's a skill in of its own right that needs to be practiced. They have to practice letting
Okay.
go. They have to. I mean, it's no different than the guy, Prince Siddhartha, who became the Buddha, who is an INTJ, because his entire philosophy is all about letting go in that regard. And the INTJ needs to get to that standpoint first, because if you are planning your if you're planning your performance, you're not going to perform well. You have to practice
Yeah.
letting your performance basically happen to you in as much as it happens to other people.
Yep.
Almost as if you are the member of your own audience. Oh wait, look, that's SI Demon. You know. from
And here's the other thing. Here's the other thing about it. For you INTJ treasure hunters that want to like find happiness in building some kind of legacy, whether that be a business or maybe you found teaching or art or something like that with your ESFP subconscious. Some of the greatest inventions in history were by complete accident. They weren't what they were trying to do at all, and there's some of the things that have helped humanity and they've been remembered for years and decades and centuries. So you don't have it all figured out. Just go and do and let yourself discover. Your TE will be humbled. It'll be more innocent in its learning. You'll be able to find what you truly value and what hills you're willing to die on that are respectable to those around you, rather than just, oh, this is what I feel good about, so you have to respect that. Then that's what ends up burning people around you, and they don't end up wanting to be around you or sticking around.
yeah,
Just
they're just gonna take off. Like it's how you alienate people, and that's not
yep,
something, And then on one hand, INTJs, the FI child superiority complex, they just be like, oh yeah, well, I wanted to be alone anyway, so I don't care. When they're just lying to themselves, trying to make themselves feel better. When the reality of the situation is, they just have that need to have people stick around and give them attention like anyone else. And the more starved of attention they are, the more self-destructive they are. But they're starved of that attention and they are self-destructive because they're pushing people away. So, and then they blame
yeah,
everybody else and they punish other people around them for it when it was their fault to begin with. And that's my biggest problem with INTJs. It's ridiculous.
yeah.
It's insanity.
Yeah, and if they just stop trying to force the future that they want with their "and I hero" hubris, they'll do just fine. They'll
Yeah,
leave a legacy that will carry on through their friends for generations if
God,
they just
go
go
ahead.
do.
Yeah. Yeah, God forbid that they discover a future that they like that they didn't necessarily want. Oh man, God forbid. What the hell?
Right.
Like, well, I didn't know I wanted this all along. It's like you're at the store, telling Dad, "Hey, I want that for Christmas," and he's like, "No, you don't. You're gonna want this for Christmas," and it's obviously way better. Sometimes you just gotta let Dad pick. Sometimes you just gotta let life pick. Sometimes you just gotta let the universe pick, and stop trying to like control everything. Stop trying to like bring everything under your will or under your boot because that's not how it's going to work. You have to realize that this is not your world. It's everyone else's world. So bring them along or be willing to actually follow for once. And it's not that you're
Yeah.
trying to lead, you're
If
just trying to trailblaze your own path. Well, why don't you follow other paths? Like, come on.
I have one more zinger for the INTJs out there, courtesy of the temples once again. But
Yes.
I've seen so many INTJs that strive and desire to teach. And here's the thing about that for you INTJs in particular. That is a super ego position temple for you, the mind temple. How, if you're so focused on knowing what you want all the time, and you're so, even if you're good at forcing the outcome that you're trying to get to, even if you are, your students aren't. Most of your students are bumping around in the dark without a clue of what they want to do. So if you haven't done that before, if you haven't bumped around in the dark, how do you expect to be able to teach those students? You're going to lose probably like 70% of your student base off the bat just because, oh, well, I knew what I wanted. Nobody's going to want to learn from you. And
Yeah,
the only way that's
exactly.
going to happen is first develop your character through your shadow,
Should we be
develop your subconscious.
shouting out Christian when we say this? I'm just saying. No.
It's not, well, yeah, Christians won, but it's like half of the INTJs that I know all want to be teachers in some regard. And that ESFP subconscious does love to try to teach with TE child. It does love to try to do that. But for both of them, that INTJ, like, gain your individuality, find out who you are, and then go and fail with your subconscious, learn from your failures, learn that it's not always about what you want, that those interactions with your SE actually help you figure that out. And then when you figured both of those things out, you'll be ready to actually teach people in a way that's meaningful to them.
Agreed. So, in summary, then, how can a shadow-focused INTJ switch his main cognitive focus towards the subconscious? The answer really is be okay with failure and do it over
Yep.
and over and over and over again. Eventually, if you practice failure, you'll eventually get success. And that's just the reality of the situation.
Bump bump around in the dark with the rest of us peons.
Exactly. God forbid that ever happen. All right, folks. Thank you, Chris, for joining us today and answering this question. And I hope you
Absolutely.
guys got some value out of this. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.